Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Gym Chronicles. Today's episode is not going to be gym based, but it's the other part of training that's just as important as the gym, and it's going to be eating. For this episode, I'm going to go over kind of how I go about my eating schedule and what I eat and the calories I try to hit in a day. So today I'm a little late, about an hour late, but normally I wake up and I eat my breakfast about 8:30. And by eat, I eat because I'm not a big breakfast eater. So what I do is I make a shake for my breakfast. I've already pre-made the shake in a shaker. It's just a scoop of protein powder, some Hershey's chocolate syrup because the protein powder is unflavored. Because some of the pre-flavored, the chocolate flavored protein powder, some of them they're too chalky. They just don't taste very well. So I like to go with the Hershey's chocolate syrup with regular milk because it's like a sweeter chocolate. It tastes like a sweeter chocolate. Then obviously I do scoop protein powder. I do 2 servings of Hershey's chocolate syrup, and then I do 12 ounces of whole milk, and that gets me about 520-ish calories. Again, at the end of the video, I'm going to break down, because I track all my meals, I'm going to break down all my meals and their macros on that. But we're going to go breakfast one with the... And one more thing, my macros, which macros is just counting your protein, fat, carbs. Micros is counting your sodium, the cholesterol, sugar, all that stuff. I just count my macros, so I have an overall calorie count, protein, carbs, fat. And for what I'm trying to do physically, in terms of in the gym and training and changing my body wise, I'm trying to gain muscle mass, trying to gain lean muscle mass. What people don't understand is carbs is vitally important to building mass. If you can imagine, protein is what's used to make the muscles, carbs is what you need to maintain that muscle. So as you put on muscle mass, you have to actually increase your carbs. So there's this stigma going on in like the fitness industry or general health, for people that don't know what we're talking about, that carbs is bad for you. Now, yes, they're not wrong, but if you know what you're doing, you have to have carbs to put on lean muscle mass, or at least a substantial amount of lean muscle mass. To build a substantial amount of strength, you need carbs. Now, yes, excess carbs that you don't use will be stored as fat, but that's why you have to make sure you go to somebody that knows what they're doing, or talk to someone that knows what they're talking about, and making sure you get the right macro plan for you. They're split up in percentages between the percentage of protein, percentage of fat, percentage of carbs. Mine's set up to have a high carb intake, a high protein intake, and a medium fat intake, because I'm naturally an ectomorph, which means I'm naturally skinny. If I don't work out, I lose weight, I'll get skinny. So because of that, and I have a higher metabolism, you have to adjust your macro based on your body type. If you're somebody that naturally just gains weight, if you start working out, you'll gain weight, or you're somebody that naturally gets bigger and puts on fat, then your macros would have to be switched up to where you're doing a little less carbs, a little less fat, and then obviously you can never go wrong with high protein. Protein is king. But I'm going to try to do my best to break down why I kind of do what I do. Obviously for my breakfast, I'm not a big breakfast eater, and I kind of have my schedule where when I wake up and between waking up at 8 and 8:30, I got to be out the door. Obviously today I lucked out because I have this virtual training, so I'm kind of able to do this at the house. But generally I'm out the door already and I'm on campus. So I drink 3 shakes a day, and I'll kind of explain why towards the end of the video. But because of that, I pre-make my shakes. You see I got shakers up here. I pre-make the shakes, put them in the fridge. So in the morning, that's 3 meals I don't have to cook. I don't have to prep. I don't have to worry about. They're all ready to go. I grab them and I head out the door, and I'll drink this one in the morning. But I'll kind of get into breaking that stuff down, and I'll show you how the calories and macros look at the end of the day. So stay tuned and I also have a schedule. I eat at the same times every day. Obviously I'm an hour late, usually 8:30, it's 8:26. But I usually have a schedule, and I'm also going to break down that schedule, because getting on an eating schedule is also important if you're really trying to build some strength. So you got to keep your body on a schedule. But stay tuned for more. Alrighty, it is 11 o'clock. So we have our first breakfast, or our breakfast shake, at 8:30 on a normal day, 8:30 to 9-ish, right around there. And then at 11 o'clock is just like a little snack. It's not really anything crazy. We just have a double chocolate chip muffin, because who doesn't like muffins for a late breakfast? And then we're just gonna go to banana, and I always measure the banana in ounces so I can input it into my app to see, you know, to get an accurate calculation of calories. So this is 5.26 ounces for the banana. So it's a small banana. I just grab like a random bundle. So some of them are like 5 ounces, and then sometimes they're 8, 9, and every now and then we'll get a banana that's like 10 plus ounces. But anyway, we just got the banana, chocolate chip muffin. We're gonna input that in the app, and again, towards the end of the video, or at the end of the video, I'll give you a breakdown of all the meals I've had in the app that I have on my phone. But yeah, that's gonna be 11 o'clock. So we're getting ready to eat just a little snack before we get, you know, to get kind of keep going in our day. It's going on 4 o'clock, and obviously I'm still at the crib. This training is all day. It's from 9 to 3 p.m., which is why it's a great day to do this video. But again, we just have the second protein shake for our 1 p.m. So as you guys are starting to notice, my mornings and kind of midday, they're not like, it's not a ton of food, because my macros, the way I have it set up just for how I work, because I'm usually on campus or I'm usually at work. So and I usually do all that stuff in the morning. So it's just easier for me to just have some shakes and a muffin and banana I can kind of just take on the go. And then I will pack up, I usually come home before I go to my other job, and that's when I'll pack up my like food. So my macro plan is bottom heavy. So we just have a shake, then we have the muffin banana, then we're gonna drink another shake. And then after that, we'll actually have some meal prepped food. I'll go over that when I get to those, and then we'll have that at 3, 5, and about 7:30, and then we'll eat when we get back from the gym, because I generally work out at around 8:45, 9 to about 10:30, and then I'll eat dinner when I come home after that. And then dinner is probably my favorite dinner to make for myself, and I'm gonna really go in depth with my dinner and how all that goes down. But again, just a simple shake. Now remember, these shakes, I did pre-calculate the calories by the serving sizes and whatever. So it's about 520 calories per shake. So those 2 shakes, we're looking at 1,040 calories between the 2 shakes. So even though it doesn't seem like a lot of food's being eaten, we are having heavily dense or high calorie shakes. So we're over. And then with the muffin and banana, again, I'm gonna break this down later. It's I think it's about 500, 600 calories. So we're sitting at just about 1,700 calories for the day, and we've only had 2 shakes, muffin, banana. And I've also hit probably close to 60, 70 grams of protein, I believe. I'm gonna have to double check because I have it all in my app. But again, just kind of explaining to you guys how this works for me and my scheduling. I'm still getting my calories, I'm still getting my protein in, but it's not a lot of eating because I just don't have the time, and I don't have the finances. I'd love to eat these big crazy meals and I just don't have the finances for that. That does get expensive. But some milk, Hershey's chocolate syrup, of protein powder, 3 of those a day, they could cover 3 meals. It's pretty inexpensive. That's what works for me. I'm gonna go ahead and drink this bad boy, and I'll catch you guys at 3 o'clock. All right, it is 3 o'clock, and luckily the training actually has just ended, so your boy gets to really go all out eating now. My 3 o'clock is pretty much my first legit meal of the day. Again, I'm not a heavy eater, so eating a ton of food throughout the day is not ideal for me. But again, this is why I have the system I have. Let's see if we can find a bigger one. Okay, yeah. All right. So this is why I have the system I have to make sure I get those calories. Again, if there's a will, there's a way. If you're trying to gain weight and you're not a big eater, you don't really have an appetite, you can find a way to get the numbers you need to get in. First, you need to go to somebody and figure out what your numbers are. Then, like your boy, if you guys need help, hit me up or reach out to me on my Instagram, FLS4swag. I can help you out with that stuff because I do calculate macros for people and my clients that I train at the gym. But what we have for my 3 o'clock is fairly simple. It's actually a bit odd, or at least some people say it's a bit odd, but all it is some chicken breast and a mango. That's it. Now, I'm gonna really take the time, now that I'm not in training, really take the time to explain kind of the science and the why behind a lot of things. So we have our handy dandy mango. We're gonna weigh the mango so I can input that in. It is a 14-ounce mango. And the chicken breast that I've pre-made, this one is a 6 ounce. I do a minimum of 5. When it comes to preparing meat, whether it's beef, chicken, pork, whatever it is, I do always suggest to do a minimum, bare minimum of 5 ounces of said meat item. I usually aim for 6, but 5 minimum. So we have, but this is a 6 ounce one because this is a little bigger. 6 ounces of baked chicken. It's just baked chicken. I marinate it in a little bit of oil and some seasoning salt, and I kind of mix it in a bowl, and I lay it on the pan. But I just baked chicken, 6 ounces. We got 14 ounces of mango. So a lot of things that you should know, especially if you're trying, even if you're trying to lose weight, this is important. But if you want to really see gains in the weight room and your numbers, your overall strength, and if you're just trying to put on lean muscle mass, you should be eating. Now, depending on who you go to, there's going to be, hang on. Sorry about that, I had an emergency call from work. But you should be trying to get 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's generally what I suggest to my clients, what I do for myself. So right now I'm about 200 pounds, a little bit over, maybe like 203-ish. So I try to get minimum 200 grams of protein in a day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you try to get 150 grams of protein a day. But what that does when you set up your macros like that, that means if you have 2,500, let's just say for example your number is 2,700 calories that you're trying to hit for the day. If you have, and let's say you weigh 180 pounds, you got to get 180 grams of protein. That means your carbs and your fat are going to be lower than the normal American diet because your protein intake is going to be so high. That's if you have 2,700 as your fixed amount. Obviously, the way you calculate it would be a little different because the overall number of calories might not be 2,700. But then generally that's how it works, to where it's going to be a high protein diet. And because you have 3 things that you're eating for, fat, carbs, protein, if one of them's high, the other one's going to be a little bit higher and the other one's going to be low. So you have to play with the fat and the carbs. So generally carbs is going to be second and the fat's going to be the lowest, depending on what type of diet you're going for, or whoever will suggest. That's probably how it's going to go. Protein's going to be the highest in terms of overall, in terms of percentage, not overall grams. Percentage and grams gets a little different, but this is why you want to go to somebody that knows what they're doing, because it gets a little bit complicated. But the overall percentage of protein might be higher, or not higher, but it's complicated. Just take my word for it, because the overall number of carbs is going to be higher than your protein, and the percentage might be higher, it might be lower, but taking in a gram per pound of body weight is a high intake of protein than the average person. Now, I will break down my numbers because I actually shoot for 230 grams of protein, which is way over my weight, but you know, that's what works for me because of my high metabolism. It's hard for me to gain weight anyway. But no, but for 3 o'clock, all it is a meat, and I try to aim for a meat and some type of carb, right? And I could go the chicken and broccoli route, chicken and rice, but I don't really like eating homemade rice, or at least I don't like making rice. I like rice, I just don't like, if I go to Pan Express, I love rice. When I go home, my parents make rice, whatever. I don't like cooking rice for myself for some reason. So I usually do a fruit as my carb, and mangoes are actually pretty high in carbs. So I believe 12 ounces, a 12-ounce mango is gonna have 50-something grams of carbs. So this is 14, so it's gonna be maybe 55, maybe somewhere around there. Again, I'll break that down later. And then obviously we have our 6 ounces of chicken. So for this meal, that's what we got working, and that's kind of why and how I go about making my meal plans. And then I'll also break it down for you again when we get to 5 o'clock. So stay tuned. Okay, so we are at work. It is 5 o'clock, so it's time for my 5 o'clock meal. So what we have is, we have some baked potatoes that I made, and I scooped out the potato part, and I put it in 10 ounces of potatoes, 2 servings of bacon, and 2 servings of bacon bits, and then 1 ounce or 1 serving of shredded cheese. So we got this. We're gonna go ahead and mix up. And this is, as you can tell, this is a high carb, decent amount of protein in this meal right here. That's what we're gonna get ready to eat while I'm on break here at work. And then we're gonna have another one at 7:30-ish before I go to the gym. It's gonna be lit, all right? So we outies. Alrighty, so now it is a 7:30 and it is time for my pre-workout meal, because it's just going to be that third shake I was talking to you guys about. So as soon as we get done here, I'm headed straight to the gym to get my lift in. And so I'm just going to drink pretty a thick meal replacement level shake and head to the gym. And then as soon as I get back from the gym, then I'm cooking the real meal, the creme de la creme, the big kahuna, the big meal of the day, which is going to be dinner. Is obviously the heaviest meal, and it's over. My dinners are generally over 1,000 calories. So we're gonna go ahead and get this down our system, and then head to the gym. We are officially closing up, and while we close, I like to indulge in a C4 energy before I head to the gym. It's like my little pre-workout. So by the time I get there, your boy ready to rock. So we're gonna get this C4. We're getting ready to be out of here probably the next 10-15 minutes, and we're gonna get right to the gym. All right, so now it's time for dinner, my favorite meal of the day. And again, like I said earlier in the video, my meal plan, or my macros, or my prepping throughout the day, it's very bottom heavy. So as you kind of saw how I actually had some meals, some chicken earlier, mangoes, some loaded mashed potatoes, yada, yada, yada. Now we're getting into some more carbs and some more protein. So we're gonna come in here. So we have I measured this is 6.5 ounces of pork loin, okay? Pork loin is one of my favorite meats paws to eat. And then we have a baked potato here. This is a 10-ounce baked potato. I'll have a serving of cheese. I have a tablespoon of butter, and I forgot to add, but I'm gonna add in a serving of bacon bits. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get this in now while I'm thinking about it, so y'all know that it's real. So one serving is just a tablespoon. So we're just gonna grab a tablespoon, just like that, and we're gonna plop it in there, bam. And then we also have a serving of our mac and cheese. I threw some pepper on there. I salted it up and all that good stuff. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is some stigmas around pork, okay? Because I have to get this off my chest. There are a lot of myths when it comes to pork. Depending on the cut of pork is not bad for you. First of all, meat is not bad for you. We gotta get that out of the way. Chicken, salmon, beef, pork, red meat's not bad. I eat a lot of red meat, okay? Now, some people do have digestive problems, and some people do have some genetic or hereditary problems with digesting or eating red meat. That's different. I'm talking about if you're somebody that has no problem digesting red meat, you don't have to stay away from red meat. Now, if you eat too much of anything, that's bad for you, obviously. But pork, people think pork is really high in sodium and that it's bad with high blood pressure and hypertension, things like that. But you also you need to understand what cut of pork you're looking at. Now, bacon, yes, bacon is very high in sodium, and it could mess with your having high blood pressure, things like that. But pork loin is actually identical or very, very similar nutrition facts as chicken breast. As a matter of fact, if you do your research, if you look at chicken breast for 5 ounces and a pork loin for 5 ounces, chicken actually has more sodium than pork loin. And pork loin is just a big slab of meat, and I cut it into sirloin cuts. So I cut it, so literally, that's why I call it pork steak, because I cut them into like little sirloin cuts. But it's literally, chicken has more sodium. Chicken breast, has more sodium than pork loin, and that's the pork I eat. The calories is about the same, protein's about the same, fat is about the same. I believe the pork was a little bit higher in fat, but it's about the same. And sodium, they're similar, it's close, it's not by a lot, but there is more sodium in chicken, there's more, the cholesterol, so everything else is literally about the same, within a reasonable amount. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I do eat a ton of pork. Again, pork loin, I don't eat a lot of bacon, I don't eat a lot of high sodium foods, but I do eat a lot of pork loin, I do eat a lot of ground beef, red meat, I do enjoy, and I do also eat a lot of chicken. And as you guys can tell, I eat a lot of potatoes. I go through about a potato a day. But anyway, all of that, and then after I eat, I'm gonna input it into my app, and I'm going to break it down on my app of how I went through today, my overall calories, what I hit, my protein, my fat, my carbs, etc., etc. And then, I'll show you the breakdown in the app. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat and It's gonna be exciting. Oh, I can't forget. I also want to mention this because I'm a juice guy. I got apple juice, I got grape juice, and one of my favorites, number 2 on my list, is cran grape. My second favorite drink of all time behind lemonade. And what I'm gonna do is, this is when I take a lot of my supplements. So obviously these supplements is NutriCost, but I just launched my supplement brand, Final Form Supplements. You guys check that out. Link is in the bio on my Instagram, FLS4 swag with 2 G's. But also I'm gonna finish these out, and then I'm gonna have my own supplement brand. I'm not gonna throw this stuff away because that's a waste of money. But I take H&B, which is really good for building muscle and promoting protein synthesis, which increases the production of muscles, as well as reduce your soreness, or sometimes prevent soreness altogether. I'm rarely sore as long as I'm taking this stuff consistently. And then of course, we're gonna throw in some vitamin C. I got some vitamin C powder to keep the immune system high. I haven't been sick since 2018. I can't say it's because of the vitamin C, but I've been taking vitamin C every day since then. Now, last but not least, we have the good old creatine. I don't even know if you guys can see this, but last we have the creatine monohydrate. This is the vitamin C. This is the H&B. H&B is my staple. Everybody always asks me if there's a supplement I should suggest besides creatine. Every human being that has a clean, healthy liver and kidney should be taking creatine. But outside of that, H&B is a key factor. I'm telling you, you guys do a little bit of research. It's not that hard. It's pretty well studied. H&B is literally my secret sauce when it comes to training. I go hard 5 days a week, and I go pretty hard and pretty heavy every day, and I'm able to do that because I'm not as sore and my body recovers so fast from H&B. And then we also have the creatine monohydrate, 5 grams. So all we're gonna do, I'm gonna do this live for you guys real quick. One thing about creatine that you guys should know is creatine actually works more effectively when you take it with a juice. It's always suggested to take it with a juice of some kind because you want to take it with sugar. The reason why is because creatine is absorbed faster and more efficiently when you have high insulin levels. When you intake sugar, that increases your insulin levels. So I like to take and creatine timing doesn't matter. As long as you take it consistently every day, doesn't matter when you take it because your muscles are gonna stay saturated with the creatine. So I normally take mine at the end of the night with I have apple juice now because I'm gonna go through it, and I also have some grapes, but usually cran grape is what I usually drink. But since I got these juices, I'm trying to get through because I don't want to waste any of it. And I personally just do 16 ounces of the juice. Some people just do 8, but I like to enjoy my juice. And because it's monohydrate, it actually dissolves pretty well. And all of the stuff that I have, this brand before, besides Final Form supplements, this brand is actually my second favorite brand. It was my first favorite, so I created my own. But then you just give it a good swirl, and it's in there, and then that's when I'm gonna drink my dinner. Obviously, I will actually input my the calories I get from the apple juice. So I do input calories from, like, if I have a Gatorade, that's 140 calories. So I do input all of those calories into my app. But I'm gonna go ahead and eat dinner, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys on the app. So this is my app, IV Fitness. If you guys want to download to check it out, it's on Apple, the App Store, or Google Play, IV Fitness. And macro plans, nutrition plans, $10 a month. Anyway, let's get straight to it. So obviously this is my workout today. And if we scroll down here to nutrition, as you can see, I hit 4771, 299, so almost 300 grams of protein, 119 grams of fat, so I was under fat. Carbs, I was over by a decent amount, less than 100. Obviously, I got my water, shows my steps, my energy, and all that good stuff. So let's dive into here. Just you can see my shakes. I've already pre-calculated my shakes. We're looking at 516 calories. Then I had the chocolate chip muffin and the banana, 5.25 ounces. Another shake, the 6-ounce chicken, the 14 mango. So as you can see, it all gets broken down here. I did have some hot chocolate, as you can see here, with my baked potato at work. Then I had another shake, and then it's the apple juice, the 10-ounce baked potato, the mac and cheese, and the 6.3 ounce of the pork loin. And you can always just look at the nutrition facts and look at the serving size and just measure out how much you do, and you can just calculate that, or you can have apps that will do this for you. But as we can see, it all breaks it down. And then also by groups, you can look at 6.3 ounces of pork loin is 34.6 grams of protein, 25 grams of fat, no carbs.
So high calorie dense foods like pork loin, as well as if we go to chicken, I can show you the chicken breast. It's 52 grams of protein for 6 ounces at 280 total calories, 6.1 grams of fat. So as we can see, eating a lot of like whole foods like meats like chicken and pork and ground beef, those things can really add up to your overall calorie count. So, but the way this is broken down for me on my overall protein goal, obviously I'm trying to hit 230 minimum. If I can get over that, I try to get over that. There's no such thing as too much protein. Technically there is, but for if you do it right, 299 grams of protein. If I can hit that, I'm definitely going to gain some lean mass. Also, I'm under on my fat. Carbs, I'm over, but I try to go over my carbs because I am also trying to maintain the muscle mass that I have. So as I'm getting bigger and stronger. So, but this is something that I know what I'm doing. I've done the calculations, and I'm okay if I go over my 575 grams of carbs. For somebody that's overweight or is trying to lose weight, or the opposite of what I'm trying to do, then you probably wouldn't want to go over your set carb goal, and you don't want to go over your fat. But it's almost never, even if you're trying to lose weight, going over your protein amount is never a bad thing. You can go over your protein as much as you want as long as you're under your fat and your carbs, and you're under your total calorie count. So if you're under your total calorie count, so let's say your calorie count is 2,800, and you don't hit your fat, you don't hit your carbs, but you go over your protein by 30 grams. That's fine. Protein's good. So that type of stuff is good for you. But again, this is some conversation you want to have with whoever you're consulting with your calories and your macros. But I hope this was helpful. This is and then I'll eat the same thing tomorrow. And then I change what I eat week by week. So like next week, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but for dinner, I think I'm going to do a homemade burger and whatever sides I come up with that. But I hope this is helpful, and I hope this kind of gave some insight or maybe some tips or some ideas of how you want to structure your macro plans. But I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.